All right, so today we are jumping back on the looping train. Last class we took a brief hiatus and talked about randomness. Today we're jumping back on the looping train. So let's say that I want to write a program in which the user guesses a number. Given what we know so far, how would I accomplish this? How can I check if the user guessed a number correctly or not?
Comparing the input with the number.
We can compare the input with a number, and then we can use an if statement to say, hey, you guessed right, or hey, you guessed wrong. So we use an if. Let's say I make my secret number equal 8, and then I make the user number equal an int input, whatever number they say. If the user number is equal to the secret number, then we can print good guess. Otherwise, we'll say, sorry, that was the wrong number. Thank you. So if I want to have the user keep on guessing until they find the right answer, though, can I do that with what I've learned so far? What we've talked about? Can we do this with a sequence of if statements?
No, not yet.
Not yet, because we've learned how to repeat something a specific number of times, or just make one decision. Let's talk today about making a decision over and over again. So we're going to talk about while loops today. While loops are very similar in structure to if statements, except that instead of running the code one time when the condition is true, while loops will run their body, the code inside of them, over and over as long as the condition is true. So we have our while example here. We got our while first. That's what's letting us do our while loop in the first place. Then we have our condition. Just like an if statement, our condition must be a Boolean value. So we can use a comparison, we can use logical operators, we can combine them. As long as a value was going to equal a Boolean, we are good to use that as our condition. And then last we have our body for our while loop. And as long as the condition for the loop is true, every time we check it, this code is going to run continuously. So let's look at an example loop. My num is going to equal 3, so I'm going to put 3 in this box. We're going to check while my num is greater than 0. Is 3 greater than 0? Sure is. So we're going to enter our loop. We're going to print my num. We're going to put 3 on our output here. We're going to say my num minus equals 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Now my num equals 2. All right, that's all of the code in the body of my loop. We're going to jump back up to the top, and we're going to check our condition again. Is my num greater than 0? Yep, 2 is bigger than 0. So we're going to print our value again. I'm going to subtract 1. My num is 1. And then we're going to loop back up to the top. Is my num still greater than 0? 1 is also greater than 0. So we're going to enter our loop again. We're going to print our number. We're going to print 1. My num minus equals 1. My num is now 0. And we're going to jump back up to the top again. Is 0 greater than 0? No, it is not. 0 is not greater than 0. So now that our condition is false, we're going to jump down to the bottom. We're going to skip everything in our body, and then we're going to print all done. And now we can see that our loop has finished. So if we go back to our guessing a number game, let's say my secret number is 8. User number is int input guess a number still. So I want to loop while user number does not equal secret number. So as long as those two values are not the same, we want to loop. Is there anything wrong with this loop as it stands?
It will not ask for an input again.
It will not ask for the input again. So when we run this, let's say they entered 5. 5 does not equal 8. So we're going to print guess again. We're going to go back up and check. Does 5 equal 8 now? No. So we're going to print guess again. We're going to go back up and check again. 5 still does not equal 8. So we're going to print guess again. And we're going to go up and check. Does 5 equal 8? Over and over, forever. We've made an infinite loop because this condition has no way of ever becoming false. So what we need to do is we need to reintroduce that input. We need to make it so that at least one of these variables is going to change. And since we don't want to change our secret number, we want to change our user number. So each time in the loop, we want to print guess again, and then have the user guess a new number. So if they entered 5, it'll print guess again, prompt them for some number. Let's say they entered 8. Is 8 equal to 8? 8 is equal to 8. So then we will exit the loop. And right now, is there a way to tell that I've exited my loop? Does the user know when they've made a good guess? No. So let's, after our loop, put print good guess so that the user can see when they've exited the loop, hey, they guessed correctly. Is this example of how to use a while loop to continue to do an action until the user does the correct thing? Does that all make sense? All right. All right, something to be aware of. The condition for your while loop will only be checked, 1, at the beginning, so before your loop runs at all, and 2, after the body has finished running. So that means that if your condition becomes false halfway through the body of your loop, the rest of the body has to finish running before the condition is checked again. So if I say my num equals 1, while my num does not equal 0, print bad number, my num minus equals 1, print try again, and then after loop I print much better, I'm going to see all 3 of these outputs. Even though right here, when my num minus equals 1 happens, my num will equal 0, we're not going to make that comparison. We're not going to jump back up here until after every line of code in the body of my loop has run. And we're going to learn how to maybe combat that issue next class. Does that problem, that thing to be aware of, make sense? All right. So I'm going to give you guys a quick schedule survey because I need to get your guys' opinions on how the schedule for this unit is going to progress. So I'm going to stop my share and stop recording.